Everybody, just getting some stuff set up. Everybody, just getting some stuff set up. If anybody is in the chat, go ahead and just kind of drop something in there. Let me know if everything's working properly, if you can hear me. Should be able to kind of get started on setting this managed agent up here in a minute. Just make sure I got everything. For those of you who are here, thank you for joining me tonight. Excited to do these. Definitely looking forward to kind of kicking off this 90 days of AI education. As I've kind of been trying to work towards kind of getting people more information on how to use all these various AI tools that are out there. They're kind of overwhelming. This isn't framed for, specifically tonight, isn't framed for businesses or anything specific to that. It's really just kind of highlighting what a managed agent on Claude is. We'll go through that entire process, start to finish, and hopefully at the end of this you'll be able to set this up yourself. Now the actual demo that we'll go through is kind of a business type demo, setting up a sales basically assistant, but you can tailor this to whatever you want. You can tailor it to your personal life assistant, your life coach, kind of really anything like that. Just one thing I want to show on my website, siresai.com /90 days of AI. you can get the full schedule of all the streams that I'm going to do. Next one will be next Friday on the 22nd, kind of going over the landscape of all the various AI models that are out there, Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, kind of highlighting their use cases, what they're good at, what some models are better at, and kind of just highlighting all of that stuff. Yeah, and then my first seminar is going to kind of evolve on that, go a little bit deeper and kind of understanding AI and what everybody should know in today's kind of environment of artificial intelligence. So yeah, if you have any questions as I'm going along, just kind of throw something in the chat and I have it up, so I can definitely take a look, make sure that I'm addressing anything that you guys might have. But we're gonna go ahead and jump into this. So again, if you need a full schedule, all the streams will be starting at 7 o'clock on Fridays. So that's an easy thing to kind of remember. And then all the seminars are going to be at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, depending on your time zone. But yeah, 6:30 for all the seminars and 7 o'clock for all the streams on Friday. So if you got nothing going on next Friday, just come join. I'll be here doing this. Okay, so a lot of you are probably thinking, what is a managed agent? Kind of what does that even mean? Essentially, what that means is a artificial intelligence agent that has a large language model that can really do tasks on your behalf. What we're going to be going through today is Claude, Anthropic's specific use case, where they have really kind of focused on is helping with general tasks. A lot of the seminars that I've done is focused on Claude Cowork and just the Claude app that you can download on your desktop today if you wanted to, and all of those various things that they have. But tonight I really want to highlight this managed agents because I think it's a crucial part, not only for small business owners, but just general people that want to start using AI and try to have it have a positive impact on their life. So what you can see here on the screen, this is the Claude console. So for those of you who don't have a Claude account, basically that's just to get that, you can just go to Claude, type it in Google. It's probably going to be the first one that pops up. Set up an account. You can connect Gmail. If you connect your Gmail, it's a little bit easier to set up the connectors for Gmail, Google Drive, all the things that you can kind of give it access to do things on your behalf. But it's a very simple process. For those of you that do have an account, you might be familiar with the Claude console, but basically this is where all of their kind of hardware, not the hardware, but all your API keys, kind of usage, it's your dashboard for your account that you can come in and actually kind of manage these things. They have the workbench that you can test various prompts, those types of things, skills that you can come in and generate your own skills that basically can perform tasks on your behalf. So a lot of various things. We can probably do this on a different stream. The skills, that's a whole nother kind of area that AI is really exploded in. But yeah, it kind of houses all of the things that you would need for setting up kind of the back end stuff of AI for your specific use cases. So once you're here in the Claude console, just come over to the sidebar and hit Manage Agents. Quick Start. They have a lot of pre-populated kind of starter templates that you can do. Support agents, deep researcher, data analyst, all these various things that they've kind of set up for you that if you have the connectors already connected to your account, make it really easy to really set this up. For me, I've already have Notion and Slack set up as the connectors on within my account. So kind of setting this up might be a little bit easier, not easier, but it's really one of those things that they have, I think, over 2,000 different connections that you can give Claude access to, and this kind of just highlights this. But what we're going to do today or tonight is actually set up a blank agent. It gives a little bit more flexibility in terms of what you want the agent to do. And the interface is actually really cool. It's kind of set up just like the Claude chat if you were to pull up claude.com and kind of just type into it. It's kind of set up just like that. You can talk in natural language of what you want to set up, what tools you want to give it access to, and then it will take all that information and actually generate it for you. So really nothing that you need to do in terms of the setup other than just telling it how you want it to behave and what specific thing that you want it to do. I've went ahead and just generated a simple support agent, just to kind of show you once the agent's generated, kind of what it would look like. So for this one, like I said, I connected Notion and Slack already, where it has permission to come in, search, fetch, create pages, update pages. Notion is essentially just a notes taking platform that I use. It's really what houses a lot of my personal business, kind of everything, notes. It's really easy to use, really easy to copy and paste into Word and have the formatting kind of stay the same as you move from Notion to Word or Google Docs or however whatever you want it to be in. And then Slack is just a communication channel that businesses use to essentially just communicate, similar to Teams. I don't know if it has the video thing as like Teams does, but it's one of those things that you might have it, you might not, but it doesn't really need Slack. Really what this would do is if you have like a message inside of Slack that you want the agent to have access to that would give it added context, you can set it up that way, and it just has a little bit more access and context to the specific task that you're asking it. But like I said at the onset, what we're gonna focus on tonight is setting up just a sales discovery agent. This is probably one of the easier ones that I can highlight multiple connections, the web search function that it has, to really kind of show you what it's capable of. Sorry about that. I did not mean to pull that up. If you're wondering why I'm kind of like talking, I'm not going to be typing anything. I'm going to be using my voice dictation software, which is WhisperFlow. So if you hear me kind of talking and see the input going into the chat box, that's what it is. So just don't be alarmed. But what I'm going to do now is really just explain what I want it to do, what specific connections I want it to have. And then once it has all that information, like I said, it'll go and actually generate it, and then we'll work through configuring everything on the next page. I really just want to focus on developing a sales discovery agent that can take a prospect company name. It researches that company using the web search, and And then within that web search, I wanted to look for, their website, recent press, their leadership team, any industry signals that might be relevant to that business. And then once we have all that information, I want you to write a structured brief and put that into my Notion database that's called Prospects. And then what this also should be able to do is set up a follow-up task on monday.com to actually include that brief and a snapshot of that brief. Sorry, got some screaming in the background. Sorry if you hear that. But also within that task in the brief, it should include the key people, recent signals over the last 12 months, pain points that the business might have, and then various conversation starters. The output should be very concise and scannable and written for somebody who's very busy and would be reading this on their phone. Just make sure it got everything. Okay. So yeah, once you have what you want the agent to kind of focus on, we'll just go ahead and send that. And then if it asks any follow-up questions, or we can have it ask follow-up questions if we wanted to. This is a pretty straightforward kind of use case, so we don't really need that. But here on the right side, you can see basically what it's generating. It's sales discovery agent. It's using Claude Sonnet 4.6. That's the specific model that it's going to use. And then kind of a description. And then the system prompt of how the agent should behave. Research process, kind of diving into each of those. The one cool thing that this does have, if I didn't mention it, is the web search. Basically what it's going to be able to do is go and search the web on my behalf. It's going to be able to crawl the website, get all that information off of there, and then use that for the brief that's going to be generated. And then the one thing you want to look at to make sure it's picked up on it is the MCP servers. So basically those are the connections that the Notion and the Monday that I told it that you want to make sure that it has on here. So what it's going to do is just going to use that connection that you've already set up with Notion and Monday. So everything looks good. The one thing that I will probably change would change is just the model. Claude Sonnet 4.6 is pretty good. It's not their most recent model. Opus 4.7 is a very, very powerful model in terms of how good it is at making sure it actually does what you ask it. But for this case, it's totally fine to be able to use that, and it's something that's an easy change kind of on the back end. So once we have everything, we can go ahead and create this agent. And then, what it's going to do now is set up the actual environment that is going to use the credentials for this agent. So yeah, agent created, agent's reusable version configuration. It defines a persona, model, and tools, but doesn't run on its own. That is one thing that I wish was different about this. In order for this to actually get going and do what you need it to do, kind of out of the box, you would have to come into the Claude console and start a new conversation or session with it. There are ways that you can basically trigger it via like WhatsApp or Telegram or some communication channel that basically removes having to come into the browser. So say you're on your cell phone and you pull up the Telegram app and you can basically message this agent. It's a little bit more complicated of a setup. I've done it myself. Took me, probably 20 minutes with having Claude help me do it. But that is one thing that I wish they had a better kind of plan on implementing that. Being able to use like Telegram as a connector within Claude to be able to use your phone as basically the communication platform. So that way, you're driving in your car, you can pull up the Telegram app, message the agent directly, and then it can start that session to do the task that you wanted to do. That's my only kind of, I would say, negative that I've ran across kind of setting this up. Is really just having an easier way to do it, because if you're not tech savvy or if you don't really have kind of understanding of hosting things on various platforms, it can be a little confusing on if you don't have like some coding knowledge to be able to set that up. So yeah, we'll go ahead and configure the environment. The other thing that I do like about the platform itself here is, say you have multiple agents that use Notion, kind of the same connectors. You can make like one environment and then use that environment for all of those different agents. So the agent that I showed at kind of the beginning, that support agent, I've already generated the environment for it. I can go ahead and reuse that one, or I can create a new one. I'm going to create a new one just to be kind of sure that it's getting everything that I want it to. So yeah, it's saying the environment's ready, limited networking with MCP server, access to Notion and Monday. So that is what it is. It's set up right now, and we can start testing to make sure it's actually kind of set up properly. Now, obviously, it's not going to be kind of set up and go. There's going to be some quirks and some bugs that you need to work through, but that's going to be part of this whole process. So basically, this is just saying that you're creating a shared workspace. Obviously, anyone with this API key would be able to access it. Just going to go ahead and connect. And so yeah, this is what it's going to do. It's going to pull up your Notion configuration that you have. I've set up a separate kind of workspace in Notion for this specific demo. It's this Zach Sire space. Just going to go ahead and hit continue. And again, that's just this. I actually had Claude come in here and kind of generate the actual page in the database for me. That's one of the cool things with Claude is once you have it connected, you can actually have it like kind of build stuff out for you. So that's what I had it do here once I kind of setting up for this video. And then the other thing for Monday, it's a little bit more tricky to kind of set up. What you have to do is you have to create an app within Monday.com. This app is basically going to be the link between Claude and Monday. So to do that, you need to go to the admin apps. I have the Monday MCP here. I'm going to add it to the stream demos, and I'm just going to add it. Well, well then, Really don't feel like upgrading. You're paying for this. So right now we're just going to skip that for now. So let's focus on the what's going on. Let's focus on the Notion, and then all right, so there's an error. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to paste it here. I keep getting this error when I start up a test run. Can you try to help me figure out what's going on? It's likely a culprit. Agent tries to use that immediately. Session startup timeout. Okay. Hit test run button. This is persist recognition credential. Yeah, I went through and set up the permissions for the workspace in Notion, and I skipped the Monday credential. If that's going to be the critical error in causing this, can we actually just remove the Monday portion for now, and once we get that set up, we can add that back in. So yeah, now it's just gonna go and strip this out. All right, now let's test run again. Okay, we're still getting it. Okay, we're still getting this error. Can you help me try to identify what's going on with the Notion? All right. So this is one thing that I will say, if you are doing this and you're using this chat to kind of figure out what's going on, open up a separate browser and do what it's asking, because if you go to a different tab, this entire chat goes away. You don't have access to it again. It doesn't have memory to be able to reference it later. So that's one thing I will say that you need to do, is just do a separate tab and kind of go through what it's asking you to do. All right, so console vaults. Vaults. Okay, credential vaults. Oh, I think I know what happened. But we'll figure it out. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. Oh, there it goes. Okay. All right. Check the notion credential status. If it shows a pending or errored, delete it and re-add it. And I'm just going to copy and paste this because the one annoying thing also is you can't add screenshots in this chat. So here's what the credential vault looks like. Can you help me figure out what's going on? Vault only has a Monday credential, but no Notion credential. Wait, what? Okay, add. Copy this. Okay, space. Okay, continue. All right, now should be good. There we go. Sweet. All right. So let me pull up my little note sheet here. Sorry, my dog is barking. She's crazy, so. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna research a company. What company should we do? Can you research Duke Energy for me and prepare a discovery briefing? The one thing I do want to mention, obviously Duke Energy has multiple locations. Let's focus on the Cincinnati area. Oh, wrong part. Huh. I had it to the wrong chat. So it's just going to go ahead and start a session. Basically, what this is doing, it's spinning up everything on the servers that are housed within this agent. The one thing that I forgot to mention, that this is awesome for, everything that you need to kind of manage this agent, Anthropic takes care of. So all of the hosting of this and all of that, you don't even have to worry about. Anthropic's going to take care of it. For those of you who have seen OpenClaw or Hermes agents, those basically this is Claude's version of that. But what it is OpenClaw was really the first one that kind of hit the market. Essentially what it was is an autonomous agent that could run locally on your device, or you could set it up to run on a like virtual private server, or a virtual server, and it has access to your computer. It has access to being able to generate code, running the internet, kind of all those things. But what was really tricky about it is setting it up to be able to communicate with it when you're not at your computer. Kind of what I was talking about with the actual managed agents with Claude. There's really not, if you have it set up on your device, it can be a little more challenging to communicate with it. Also, you have to have a good enough device that can run it. It's pretty easy to run on most devices nowadays. But really what the challenging part was for business owners that want to have it on its like own separated environment, to where it doesn't have direct access to the files on your computer. What you would do is you could basically set up a virtual server that is, would basically be a fresh computer in the cloud. And that can be very challenging and it's not cost, it doesn't cost a lot, but it's more challenging to set up if you're not familiar with it. But with Claude and Anthropic, they do all of that. Everything is ran on their servers through AWS is what they use. So everything is kind of taken care of on their end. So it really does make it a lot easier to kind of spin one of these up and kind of use on for your specific use case. So yeah, what it did, basically it went, kind of took my prompt. It looked at what databases it had access to. It ran a little bit of thinking, and then it ran a web search. You can look at it. So Duke Energy Cincinnati operations 2024-2025. This is the various web searches that it ran. Empty tool result, it didn't require a tool because the model itself has the ability to do web search. So it was able to do it, and right now, oh, there it is. So here, we can pull it up right here. So Duke Energy Cincinnati, company snapshot, kind of, if you're from this area, you know about Duke Energy. But what it did is it went and found the president of this specific area, kind of gave the LinkedIn. So if I were to click on this, okay, so that didn't work. This might be one of those use cases where we need to update the model, because it doesn't look like it was able to do this accurately, I should say. So this is her, but let's see. So yeah, kind of went through and gave all those signals, pain points, conversation starters, all those things. So yeah, what I think of this as, for if you're not a business person or don't run your own business or anything like that, the way that I typically use my agent is for if I'm trying to do research for whatever is, on the topic of discussion. I'm trying to think of a specific use case that I use this for. I mean, because since I use Notion pretty much for everything, if I were to show you my Notion, there's probably 50 gigs of actual data in there that have just, over the 4 years that I've been using, I've just kind of put notes in and all of those things. And what this demo kind of the way that it was structured is more go and find research and add it to Notion. You can kind of use it the reverse way. Say you have a bunch of notes in Notion, you can have it look at Notion and get all of that information that's in there, and then use that to do web search, do all sorts of things. Once you add in all the skills, it's one of those things that it's kind of endless in terms of what it actually can do. But for this, I think the one thing I want to do, is update the actual model itself. So to do that, you can just come in here. Okay, should be an edit button somewhere, and it's right here under this. Oh my gosh, this is annoying. Okay. I really wish this would go away. I don't know why this is still here. Okay. Actions. Okay, I just want to edit it. And I don't know why this is here. This is really frustrating. Okay. All right, so apparently I'm not going to change it. But I think if I would have done Claude Opus 4.7, I think the LinkedIn, because it looks like there might be multiple Amy Spillers. So it's got a specific identifier where, you know, it just gave me Amy Spiller. So I think for this, maybe if I do this. Okay. Wow. Okay. So let's go Opus 4.7. Save. So now what we can do, we can start a new session, create session. No. Then you got to come in and start a okay. Let's do this. Oh, forgot to click that. Okay. So let's try. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this. And I'm going to have it do it again. But I want to get the same prompt. Nope. So yeah, the one thing that I also do like is, especially in the debug tab, one, that it has, you know, everything that it's doing, so you can kind of come in here and make sure, you know, it's acting and working appropriately. But it also gives like the amount of tokens that you use. Tokens are just basically how much compute or energy it is requiring to do a certain task. But ultimately, your tokens, that's how much usage you can have. All the various plans have various levels of token usage. I'm on the max plan, so I get kind of the most amount. But if you were working on, you know, the $20 plan, trying to minimize the token usage, this is a valuable kind of way to see, okay, what tasks are generating the most amount of tokens. For this, it's really just generating that Notion database. So that did tokens, total tokens, whatever this math adds up to. I'm not good at math off the top of my head, so but what we're gonna do, so the one other thing that kind of sparked in my mind, if you have a set way that you want the kind of output to be, one thing I would recommend is setting that up within your database. Because if you noticed, when we changed the models, there's that table at the top that had Amy Spiller's LinkedIn profile link is not there. Just a different way of that the model is kind of generating. It's not going to generate it the same every single time, but if you give it a template of, okay, this is how I want it to be structured, every time it will kind of put it in that output. So it's one of those things that you can tweak as you come in and work on it. But this actually didn't even give me a LinkedIn. That might be one thing that you could add to the prompt within the actual agent. So we're going to come in here and do a guided edit. So what the guided edit does, basically, if you have a specific thing that you want to change, like what I just said with the LinkedIn, we can go ahead and add that. So one thing that I do want to add to this agent, whenever there is a prospect or kind of leaders at the specific company, I want to try and find their LinkedIn page. We need to make sure that if that is added, those are added at the top of the Notion database in a table, kind of with their name, title, and then the LinkedIn URL. And what this will do, it'll update this configuration to add that. So if you don't really know what any of this does, just come into the guided edit, and then it will make those changes. So as you can see, present this section, research purposes, title LinkedIn. Okay, so now we can test run it. Select environment, sales, test run. And then can you prepare a research brief for Alta Fiber, specific to the Northern Kentucky area? Alta Fiber, I just have an Alta Fiber box sitting here, and that was the first thing that popped in my mind. Did it again. This can be kind of buggy. Managed Agents has only been out for probably 2 months now. They're constantly making updates to it. I probably should have came in and started a new session, saved the agent, and then tested it that way. Because sometimes this guided edit basically creates a sandbox, basically where it can modify and change it without actually modifying and changing it. And then once it's ready for what you want, you can save it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy this, sessions, new session. And then it should work properly now. Ah, there it goes. Yeah, so some of those quirks that you have to kind of work through, and obviously I've done this with a couple of different agents, so one of those things that if you're watching this, it might be useful to kind of get those tips and tricks kind of set up. So it keeps running into an error. And what I'm going to do is, once it's now it's trying to add emojis. Gotta love that. Okay. Yeah, that's helpful. That's something new that they've added since I've kind of configured one of these, is being able to run the actual error kind of right next to it without having to make the second tab and come in and do all that. Alt fiber. So let's see if we got this right. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, okay, cool. Perfect. So I was able to find them. You might be able to go in manually and find those. As you can see, it didn't add any emojis because it ran into that error, so it just said, okay, let's stop doing that. But yeah, I think I know I planned on adding Monday to set up those connections, but I'm cheap. Don't really want to spend, what would it be, $4? Let's see. Let's see what it would be. I don't even know how much this is. $9? Yeah, I'm not paying $9 for that. To be able to add, specific tasks. Say you need to send an email or send a follow-up or anything like that, you can have it kind of go in there and add those. But also what you can do is you can have Claude kind of set up a task database within Notion and just have it automatically update that within your prompt. It would just be that would just be something that you would need to tell the agent, after you generate the brief, add it to this specific database within the same page of Notion. That way you can kind of bypass Monday. I originally was using Notion as my kind of task management software. I had a dedicated task page where I was generating all of that information and adding all those tasks. And then I recently switched over to Monday, probably about a month and a half ago. And I actually had Claude go and map everything from Notion to Monday for me in about 30 minutes. So, being able to do those things on your behalf would save you, I didn't personally do anything. I just told it what I wanted it to do. And it kind of did that in the background as I was doing other things. So yeah, I think it really does have the ability to be a game changer in doing research, those types of things. If you're looking for a car, you can kind of have it go and find a specific brand, make, model, mileage, how much you want to pay, all that information. It can populate it into a Notion database and kind of give you everything that you need. That's actually the use case. I had that do it a couple weeks ago, trying to find a bigger car for our family, and so this is the make, model, what we want. Don't want over 80,000 miles. Go and find 10 cars within 50 miles of my zip code that we can go look at. So it did that and was super helpful. Like I said, it's not always going to be 100%, but if it gets you 80% of the way there and you don't have to lift a finger to do it, somebody who has 2 young children and one more on the way, it makes my life a whole heck of a lot easier to be able to get on my phone and say, hey, can you do this for me? While I'm going to pick up from school or going to drop off from school or whatever. It's really at the tip of your fingers, and just kind of understanding what's actually available is something that I think a lot of people don't understand. And that's kind of what this whole 90 days of AI education is kind of geared towards, kind of showing what it's actually capable of, to really get back time for you, so you're not just spreading yourself so thin that you can't get everything done that you need to. This has been something that I've been trying to convince my wife to start implementing, and she's done it a little bit, but obviously I do this for a living, so I'm kind of know more use cases of what it can be used for. But yeah, I mean, if you guys are kind of watching this back and have any additional questions, feel free to shoot me an email. You can contact me here at Zach.Sayers at Sayers AI, or if you are friends with me on Facebook or X or wherever you're kind of watching this, just drop a comment on the actual video, and I'll do my best to respond as quickly as I can. But if you're watching this back and you got some value out of it, join me next week, and I'll kind of dive in a little bit deeper into the actual models and kind of where I think AI is going, and how it can positively impact your life, because I know there's a lot of things in the news right now that kind of make AI seem scary. And there are things that scare the crap out of me. Not necessarily the technology, but the technology in people's hands. But that's just, it's one of those things that you knowing more sometimes can be beneficial, because it can help you really understand kind of what people's goals and motives are. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed, join me next week. And again, my first seminar, kind of going a little bit deeper into that AI landscape and kind of what everybody should know. That one is coming up at the end of the month on May 28th at 6:30. So yeah, thank you guys for watching.